so much.
In view of promoting the river's content industry and cultural heritage, My Eyes China emphasized on the need to establish and sustain a more better content approach for the state.
By the time somebody is seeing today, River State Positive Festival, tomorrow, River State Festival, this festival that happened in December, this festival, if you're outside River State, you want to come and know what is this festival, where is this Port Harcourt? That's exactly what he's talking about. By God's grace, they have the platform.
Interview, My Eyes China urged youth in the content space to guard against the discrimination of content that is capable of marketing the state.
Every youth now, almost every youth has a smartphone. And so, if you don't know anything about smartphones, if you don't know about algorithm, you should know about hashtags. When people want to do business in a location, visit a location or come to a location, they check the internet algorithm for what that location rating is. So if you are a youth and you are bad-mouthing your location, you are demarketing your location, those investments that will come and give you jobs will not come. Those businesses that will employ you and come and develop or buy what you're selling will not come. The customers that will come and buy what you're selling will not come. Even the scholarships and the developmental initiatives that are supposed to come and support what you're doing will not.
That the River State Economic and Investment Summit is an annual event dedicated to showcasing the best investment opportunities in River State, and it is organized by the River State government in collaboration with key stakeholders to serve as a platform for promoting economic growth, fostering partnership and attracting local and international investors to the region. In view of the crisis rocking the Labour Party in Edo State, the Julius Abure-led national leadership of the party has sacked the state executive led by Kelly Ogailu. In its place, the party national secretariat has constituted a 17-man caretaker committee headed by the former Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Elizabeth Ativie, to oversee the running of the chapter, while the crisis in the state chapter of the party has accused the state on May 25, 2024 as the leaders in the Agure Oromi in Osan North East local government area of Edo State suspended Abure for alleged high-handedness and anti-party activities. The state executive advised Abure to refrain from holding out or parading himself as a member of the Labour Party in Ward 3. Adriel Romi in Eastern Northeast local government area Edo State, while the national body denied knowledge of the suspension, and Abure remained a member as well as the national chairman of the party. While administering the caretaker committee to the oath of office, Dr. Olurofemi said the new leadership of the party in the state came on board as the tenure of the Ogbailio-led executive council ended in April. He also said the new leadership of the party in the state was expected to take charge of the affairs pending when the fresh Congress would hold to elect a new executive in the state, while the party decided to appoint Autonomous Community Akwete Ndoki Ancient Kingdom in Okwa East LGA of Abia State have protested an alleged plot of imposed Daniel Uwoezo as their new traditional ruler. This is coming after Uwoezo, as last week announced as a newly elected traditional ruler of the community by the Abia State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Uzo Nwachuku, after a plebiscite conducted in the community by his ministry. The commissioner also said that Uwoezo scored a 9-vote to defeat Augustine Enyinaya Obulu, whom he said got 1 vote in a peaceful plebiscite, which followed due process, and also explained that the state government was not interested in who becomes the traditional ruler, but only interested in peace and stability in all parts of the state. But many leaders and youth of Umuhueze, who staged the protest as the Ukwa East local government area headquarters, Akwete, against the emergence of the Daniel Umozo as Eze-elect, called on the Abia State Governor Alex Oti to call the Commissioner Uzo Nwachuku to order to avoid breakdown of law and vision with the federal lawmakers from the area compromise the true process and tradition that proceed the traditional ruler for Umuhueze Akwete. Speaking on behalf of the aggrieved villagers, Obona Chibuche, who said he is the palace secretary of Umuhueze, and the Onyekwere Onyema, explained that the Akwete ancient kingdom, which has existed for more than 400 years, has a well-established monarchical dynasty of their section, and it is known for kingship tussle. Imo State Police Commissioner Aboki Danjuma has demoted an officer, Inspector Isong Uswage, attached to the counter-tourism unit in Owerri, following the widely circulated video showing him extorting money from motorists along Owerri-Onitsha Expressway. Disclosing the disciplinary action in a statement by the command spokesman, Henry Okoye, said the police officer's behavior was shameful and unprofessional, stressing that the supervisory officer has also been issued an official query for lack of supervision. Aboki, who condemned the officer's action, said the command would not tolerate any form of extortion or misconduct by its personnel and warned that supervisory officers who fail to carry out their oversight duties will face severe sanctions. And urged residents to continue supporting the police and other security agencies with timely and actionable information to ensure public safety. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu joins suit instituted against the 36 state governors over alleged misconduct in the administration of local governments as illegal normacy. Sanwo-Olu, who discloses at the two-day legal summit held in Ikeja, the state capital, said local governments in Lagos State enjoy full autonomy, and the federal government has approached the Supreme Court with a suit seeking to compel governors of the 36 states of the Federation to grant full autonomy to the local government in their domains. The suit was filed by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi on behalf of the federal government, urging the Apex Court to issue an order prohibiting state governors from unilateral, arbitrary and unlawful dissolution of democratically elected local government leaders for local governments. Reacting to the suit, the Lagos State Governor said the AGF should have conducted due diligence to ascertain the earning state governors rather than join the 36 governors in the suit. Sanwo-Olu said an infringement on the local council autonomy was an affront to the spirit of the Constitution, on which the judiciary must take a clear interpretation for equity and fairness, adding that the better justice system will protect the interests of parties and discourage action limiting the efficiency of any government entity. Two motorcyclists have lost their lives during an exchange of fire gun with policemen who prevented an attack on the Ikpaja division of the Lagos State Police Command. Eyewitness said the policeman embarked on the enforcement of the existing ban on motorcycle operation in the state when the motorcyclists revolted against the action and during the protest to express their grievances against enforcement. The State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Handuyin said in a statement he posted on his verified handle on X that the motorcyclists attempted to overrun the police station. He explained that during the exchange of fire gun between the policeman and the protesting motorcyclists, two motorcycle operators were killed and no fewer than 200 motorcyclists were impounded, arrested during the incident. The spokesman also said the Lagos State policemen will not be cowered into its responsibilities of enforcement of all duly passed law and maintenance of laws and order within the society. Senator representing Ondo State Joimo Ibrahim has removed his suit against the All Progressives Congress on the Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. This is coming after Ibrahim approached the Federal High Court in Abuja to challenge the outcome of the gubernatorial primary election of the APC in Ondo State and claimed that there was no voting in the senatorial district and a larger part of the state. Following the suit, the executive of the APC in Igbatako Ward 2, Otikpakpa local government area of Ondo State suspended Ibrahim from the party over alleged anti-party activities and insubordination, while Ibrahim said he withdrew the suit in deference to President Bola Tinubu, who waded into the issue. Independent National Electoral Commission says it has commenced continuous voters registration in Edo and Ondo State in preparation for the off-cycle governorship election. The elections are scheduled for September 21st, 2024 in Edo and November 16, 2024 in Ondo respectively. The National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voters Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, in a statement said the continuous voters registration began at 397 centers across the two states on Monday. The state acting chairman of the APC, Jarrett Tenebe, in a statement has urged INEC to cancel the exercise due to the damage to its secretariat materials and equipment meant for the continuous voters registration, while INEC has moved the registration center to its office at Ikpaba, Oka local government area of the state. To facilitate access to registration centers, INEC has distributed hard copies of the locations to stakeholders. Information on its website and social media platforms is to fulfill the renewed hope agenda. President Tinubu, who thanked Wike countless times in his speech delivered at the Presidential Commissioning Ceremony of Southern Parkway from Christian Center to Ring Road, expressed his gratitude to Wike to have worked tirelessly to complete a project that was abandoned for 13 years, stressing that the completion of the South benefits of Nigerians.
And stop that. Barrister is on Wiki. Mr. Project. Who? Well done. As a team leader, you work so hard, tirelessly. The completion of the Southern Parkway underscores our commitment to inclusive and sustainable development as we strive to build a world-class capital city. That infrastructure is an enabler of jobs, economic development, and prosperity. The need of our citizens is paramount in our mind. So from making our citizens the central focus of our development, we believe Nigeria will succeed. As we formally inaugurate this road, I'm greatly honored I had him mentioning my name as the beneficiary Thank you very much. Thank you for being a very good team leader. We all collectively will not let you down.
Minister Yesom Wike, while delivering his address, said Southern Parkway was phase awarded in December 2010 at the sum of 2 billion naira, but later reversed to 35.7 million, which was not constructed before his administration came on board. And it was therefore at his commitment that the project was completed.
Mr. President, they wish to be informed that the Southern Parkway is one of the principal outlets conceived and planned as a freeway to provide access and connectivity to the southern business platform of the city, as provided by the Master Plan. The other principal outlet is the Northern Parkway, which has been substantially developed over the years to service the Northern City. To bring the level of development of the Southern Parkway at par with Northern Parkway. This project, which was awarded in December 2010 to Mr. Central Code Limited at a contract sum of 2.2 billion, was later revised to 35.7 billion due to changes in scope and other economic indices. But this was done before this application came in. The scope of work made up of 2 main carriageways of 4 lanes each and 2 service carriageways of 2 lanes each, making a total of 12 lanes. It also includes the construction of 4 number interchanges, a total of 8 numbers in addition to the provision of associated underground engineering infrastructure facilities. I'm happy to further inform Your Excellency that the project is now completed in line with the renewed hope agenda of the project will indeed enhance traffic circulation around the city center, thereby reducing delays in travel time, complement the developed portion of the Northern Parkway by using the traffic congestion experience in the southern streets of Garki, Kutu, and Durumi, as well as accelerate the development of the service of the city in general, thereby bringing improved social to residents and other Nigerians.
Earlier, the Executive Secretary to the Federal Capital Territory Administration gave the project overview.
The parkway had remained undeveloped over the years. The segment of the Southern Parkway that is being commissioned today covers a total distance of 5.4 kilometers, starting from the National Christian Center at CBN Junction with Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, which is the inner Southern Expressway, up to the Ring Road 1, that is the Namdi Azikwe Expressway. The objectives of the projects are to, among others, as also itemized by the MC, to rapidly evacuate traffic from the city center, thereby reducing delays and increasing useful man hours. The scope of the work that we are presenting today consists of the development of 2 main carriageways of 4 lanes each and 2 service carriageways of 2 lanes each, making a total of 12 lanes. The parkway, as against the other expressway of 10 lanes, is the only roadway 12 lanes. It also includes the construction of 4 number interchanges with a total 8 number bridge crossings, network of integrated underground engineering infrastructure facilities such as storm and foul water drainages, water supply, power supply, street lighting, and telecom ducting. The project was awarded to Mrs. Centraco Nigeria Limited in 2 phases, first in December 2010 and then November 2012 as phases 1 and 2, but has suffered inadequate funding. It is out of the doggedness and the determination of Musta Project, the Honourable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezenwo Yesom Wike, that we are able to see to the accomplishment of this outstanding work on this, which has enabled us to present today for commissioning.
Adamawa State Governor Hamadu Fintiri has massively expanded his cabinet with the appointment of 182 special assistants and also sent a list of 57 names to the State House of Assembly for appointment as head of the board and commissions. A statement issued in Yola by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Hamawashi Wonosiko, said the appointments are with immediate effect. In a similar development, the governor appointed Dr. Michael Zika, the former personal assistant to former Governor Jibril Window, as executive secretary on the Poverty Alleviation and Wealth Creation Agency. Gombe State government says it has filed charges against a man who amputated both hands of his 12-year-old nephew, identified only as Amadou, following the allegation that the minor stole a phone. Director of Public Prosecution in the Gombe State Ministry of Justice, Abubakar Jagudo, who confirmed the prosecution, said they are waiting the assignment of the case by the Chief Judge of Gombe State. A statement by the Vice Chairperson of Nigerian Bar Association in Gombe, Maulin Abdu, in commemoration of the Children's Day, condemned the amputation of Amadou's hands over an alleged phone theft in Akko local government area and pointed out the urgent need for child protection in Gombe State. She called for the enforcement of the child protection law to address the abuses, stating the necessity of a certain effort to combat such injurious acts against minors, and lamented that despite the Attorney General's office taking over the prosecution, many cases of child abuse remain unaddressed, ranging from sexual abuse as well as child labor, molestation, and trafficking. Abdul called on stakeholders to take immediate and resolute action to safeguard children's well-being, urging Gombe State to implement and enforce the child protection law swiftly. Police in Jigawa State has raided criminals' hideout and arrested 85 suspect criminals. Police spokesperson DSP Lawan Shiwu Adams, who confirmed the development in a statement, said the arrest was made after a raid carried out in Edestus, Kazure, Tura, Zara, and Megatari local government areas. He also said some of the exhibits in their possession, including 4 blocks as well as 258 wraps of dry leaves, suspected to be Indian hemp, 150 pieces of DS tables, and 40 pieces of tramadol tablets, 42 bottles of soaked and dyed substance, and 37 pieces of rubber solution, as well as 29 pieces of Exdol tablets. Seishu said the suspect will be taken to court after investigation. Kano State High Court, presided over by Justice Amina Adamu Aliyu, has ordered the police to evict their deposed Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, from the palace he is occupying along the state road in Nasarawa area of the state. The court, which gave the order, also issued an interim injunction restraining Bayero and 4 others dethroned emirs from parading themselves as emirs, pending the hearing and determination of a motion on notice filed by applicants. The judge gave the ruling as the state government appealed to President Bola Tinubu to move the deposed 15th Emir of Kano from the state, while State Deputy Governor Aminu Abdul Salam, during a press conference, said Bayero's presence in Kano posed a threat to the peace and stability cherished by its people. This is coming after the State House of Assembly had on Thursday repealed the Kano Emirate Council law, which divided a Kano into 5 emirates and aimed the crisis caused by the new emirates. The 14th Emir of Kano, Mohamadu Sanusi II, a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, was dethroned by Abdullahi Granduje's administration. Upon the repeal of the law on Thursday, The state governor, Abba Yusuf, signed the new law and sacked the 5 emirs, and while the other 4 emirs complied with the directive, the deposed emir of Kano, who was not in the city, returned and hunted for the palace at the Nasarawa area. Five months after school teachers Abdulhamid Tanko was sentenced to death for the killings of the 5-year-old pupils Hanifa Abubakar in Kano, Governor Abba Yusuf has vowed to ensure the execution of the convicts. The governor said a sentence prescribed by the court must be carried out. Yusuf disclosed this during an event to commemorate the 2024 International Children's Day celebration in Kano State High Court, and sentenced Tanko, its accomplice, Hashminu Iyaku, to death by hanging after finding them guilty of Hanisfa's murder. Yusuf said the convicted mothers get the desired justice they deserve and would serve as a deterrent to those who are planning evil against children, adding that the state is on the verge of declaring a state of emergency on education to ensure quality education for children in the state. The governor also promised that in no distant time, free school feedings and free uniform will be provided for school children from primary 1 to 3 in the state, while the State Commissioner for Women, Children and Disabled, Hahija Aisha Lawan, commended the governor for his initiatives, including free education for primary and secondary school students, as well as slashing of tuition fees by 50% for tertiary institutions. You are watching The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return after the short break.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back. This is Transition on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu's led Federal Executive Council has awarded 51 contracts worth 6.27 trillion for procuring, constructing, and developing various infrastructural projects across the Federation in 8 months. The contracts awarded between October 16, 2023 and May 14, 2024, totaling 8 months, were allocated to facilitate the development of a wide array of infrastructural projects across critical sectors, encompassing the constructions of roads, bridges, train systems, and airport infrastructure. At the FEG inaugural meeting last August, Tinubu charged his cabinet members to work hard and be committed to creating a boycott economic that will serve every Nigerian, adding that expectations of Nigerians were very high and underperformance would not be tolerated. The president also restated his government's policy agenda, which include reforming the economy to delivering sustainable and inclusive growth and strengthen national security for peace and prosperity. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has blamed the worsening insecurity in the country on the poor state of governance in the local government areas across the country and has called for reform to tackle the menace. The president, who spoke in Abuja at a one-day national discourse on Nigerian security challenges and good governance at the local government level, said democracy would count if people at the grassroots were not denying the dividends of good governance. Represented by the Minister of Defense Abubakar Badaru, the president said a well-governed state was better equipped to address internal challenges such as terrorism, insurgency, and communal violence. The president also said the challenges of national security and presided over time of making life difficult for Nigerians, many of whom lost their lives in the hands of terrorists, insurgents, and other criminal elements, adding that the challenges of national security has persisted over time and making life difficult for Nigerians. Also speaking, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi called for the scrapping of the State Electoral Commission to pave way for the conduct of election and the local government's level by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Senate and the House of Representatives will on Wednesday, May 29, hold a joint sitting to mark the 25th years of unbroken democracy in Nigeria. The sitting, the phase of its kind since the return to democracy in 1999, will feature paper representation by eminent Nigerians, including former Ministry Head of State General Abdulsalami Abubakar. The two legislative chambers only sit together during annual budget presentation by the President, while a statement by the National Assembly management said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to deliver an address at the joint sitting. The president is also expected to inaugurate the new National Assembly Library as part of the event slotted for the 25th year celebration, along with other dignitaries and stakeholders. There will be a commemorative lectures on 25 years of the National Assembly, as well as lessons and opportunities at the joint sitting, while Baja Biamila, who served as the Speaker of the 9th House between 2019 and 2023, will deliver a paper on reflection on the House, while Senator David Mark, the President of the 6th and 7th Senate between 2007 and 2015, will speak on the reflection of the Senate. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, and the Minister of Blue Economy, Boyega Oyetola, has pushed for the establishment of the Slippery Regulatory Agency in the country. The Speaker and the Minister jointly canvassed for the establishment in Abuja during a public hearing on the Shipping Council's repeal and enchantment of the Shipping Council and Economy Regulatory Bill. Speaking, Abbas said the move to establish the regulatory agency was geared towards economic growth, development, and diversification, as well as strengthening the new ministry that he rearmament seeks to ensure the proposed agency establishes an economic regulatory framework for the effective and efficient regulation of commercials and related activities in the shipping and port sectors. He also said it was also aimed at creating an enabling environment for private sector participation in the provision and operation of regulated services in Nigeria, amongst others. The Minister of Blue Economy, Boyega Oyetola, who stressed that the need to establish the regulatory agency, said it will improve the nation's economy, and represented by Olaruntola Olufemi, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Blue Economy, said it will be a welcome development if the bill becomes an act, while Boma Alabi, Chairman Shipping Line Association of Nigeria, said that any act that will improve efficiency, lower costs, and reduce the bottleneck will be accepted, adding that the Nigerian port costs the countries twice as much as others in the region, including the Benin Republic.
This reenactment bill not only seeks to ensure that the proposed agency establishes an economic regulatory framework for effective and efficient regulation of commercial and related activities in the shipping and port sector, but also aims to create an enabling environment for private sector participation in the provision and operation of regulated services in Nigeria, amongst others.
This bill, when passed into law, will promote competition and ensure consumer protection and quality of service delivery in the regulated sector. The bill, Mr. Speaker, essentially embellishes the fundamentals of economic regulation. That is, making all actors play by the rules. Service providers must operate competitively to avoid monopoly, excessive pricing, and arbitrariness. Service users, consumers, must conduct themselves responsibly by paying appropriate prices for services and avoid unwholesome practices.
If we think about the current situation, look at the ports in Cotonou. How many people are there? Clearly, they're building infrastructure to service our country. So we've got to make sure that we are more efficient. And to that extent, we welcome this regulatory agency that will be created to make things more efficient for all of us.
Committee on Shipping Service, Port and Harbour, Maritime Safety, Education and Administration, Honorable Abdul Isamad Dabsuki, assured that the House will provide the enablement that will make bills become an act without delay for the development of the sector and the country at large. Senate has pardoned and recalled Sector Abdul Hamid Ningi, who was suspended on March 12, 2024. The 3-month suspension was handed to the Bauchi Central Senator over his allegation of a 3.7 trillion naira pardon of the 2024 budget.
The Upper Legislative Chamber recalled Senator Ningi following a joint motion sponsored by Senator Abamoro, the minority leader, Senator Olalere Oyewumi, Senator representing Osun South, and Senator Osita Ngu representing Enugu West. Senator Abamoro, in his lead debate, pledged to assume full responsibility for Senator Ningi's actions, acknowledging the gravity of the suspension.
And aware that the said Senator Abdul Hamid Ningi, being under suspension, has spent over 2 months outside the precincts of the National Assembly complex and needs to return to continue with his legislative activities as a senator representing Bauchi Central Senatorial District. Flowing from the above, the Senate minority leadership takes full responsibility for the actions of our colleague Senator Abdul Hamid Ningi and apologizes on his behalf.
According to other lawmakers, Senator Victor Ume said Senator Ningi's conduct during the period of the suspension has been a matter of scrutiny and debate within the legislative body. Senator Godswill Akpabio, in his ruling, emphasized the senator's resourcefulness and described him as a valued member of the chamber, adding that the decision to recall Senator Ningi transcends beyond religious and ethnic divides.
Is our friend and is somebody we cherish so much. The spirit of this motion has met the demand and the request of this Senate previously. An apology should be given for that unfortunate interview where we are almost put on the spot as if we did things we did not do. So in the spirit of brotherhood, I rise to wholeheartedly support that this Senate should recall Abdul Ningi.
That maintains that to err is human and to forgive is divine. It's on this note that I want to commend the minority leader and his team, in fact the entire minority caucus and the entire leadership of the minority caucus and the minority caucus itself, because I know they must have acted based on the prompting of the members of the caucus, for going in between and for making sure get to where we are now by bringing forward this motion in a way that the resolution of the issue of Ningi suspension is resolved.
Is there any senator who is opposed to this motion? Wow. So if there is nobody who is opposed to the motion, then I'll put the question. This happening today goes in tandem with the spirit of what the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Reps, has done by bringing back our old national anthem, which simply says that though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. The decision of the Senate today is clear evidence that this is one family, and though we may come from different constituencies and different states, in brotherhood we stand.
The pardoned senator is expected to resume his legislative duty to represent his constituency from the next legislative sitting. Rotimi Adeoye, ATN News, Abuja.
Of Reps to pass the National Anthem Bill 2024 to revert to the old national anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee. The Upper Legislative Chamber passed the bill after considering a report by Tyler Monguno, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. While presenting his report, Senator Monguno said his committee disagreed with the position of Lateef Fagbemi, Attorney General of the Federation, that the process to change the anthem should be subjected to a wider process. After the close consideration of the bill, Senate passed it for the third reading.
The national anthem doesn't have the backing of law, but what this bill seeks to achieve is to give it a backing of law, so that it can bite with all the legal powers embedded in it. It is pertinent to state categorically that for the first time in the history of the nation that the Parliament is making a legal framework for providing the national anthem for the country, and has followed all the steps of lawmaking process, including public hearing, in order to elicit for opinions of Nigerians. The Parliament considered the proposed bill important, as the national anthem is a representation of the country's history, culture, and people. It is a symbol of national identity and unity, reflecting the aspirations and values of the Nigerian people. The framework created by the Parliament outlines the proper rendition and performance of the national anthem, ensuring that it is treated with the respect and dignity it deserves.
The pieces of legislation now await the assent of President Bola Tinubu. Academic Staff Union of Universities has urged the federal government, as a matter of urgency, stop tax waiver meant to fund tertiary institutions in the country. President of the association, Professor Victor Osodeke, who was speaking on Tuesday during a public hearing on monitoring of collection, utilization, and other associated service related to education tax from 2011 to 2022, hinted the poor funding of tertiary institutions and is granting the industrial's action to waivers granted to banks and other private institutions.
Why should the president approve a waiver for banks not to pay some tax? And this is the sector of the industry that makes so much profit on a yearly basis. So why are you preventing them? This is one of the industries where people are properly paid, and you are preventing them. So I also believe that the legislator can come in this area, that there is a need to stop this so-called waiver. What you need to do, collect the money and do the job. Don't allow the company to go and do the job. We should look for how to stop this idea of waiver. And when there's a waiver that should not affect the third fund tax, it shouldn't affect the third fund tax, because it's not part of what they gave waiver for. The third fund tax should be 2% of your accessible profit. 3% of your profit. Whether you are going to do whatever is not an issue. Like the first ban, you declare 700, that it should be 2% of that amount. 3%, sorry, I'm sorry. It's 3% of that amount. Not say you have deducted 750, you have just bringing, we now brought it to 220 billion. If we do that, those children who are dropping out of school, those parents, that it should be 2% of that amount. 3%, sorry, I'm sorry. It's 3% of that amount. Not say you have deducted 750, you have just bringing, we now brought it to 220 billion. If we do that, those children who are dropping out of school, those parents, those who are committing suicide, and others, we eliminate.
On tertiary institution, Honorable Maria Monoa, in her submission, said the engagement by the committee is to ensure that the education tax is duly collected by the first, as well as putting it to judicious use.
What we do is to monitor compliance, and they've been regularizing, updating their receipts of payment, and they've been reconciling, and this is where we as a committee have arrived at with you. The bone of contention have always and mostly been that the banks seem to be relying on a purported exemption order which clearly mentioned companies' income tax exemption order of 2011. We have asked the banks to produce the education tax exemption order, and they have failed to present it. We have equally presented with them that you cannot liken one exemption to another, because in law you don't summarily assume, because what is not mentioned is deemed excluded. Education tax was not mentioned in whatever you have shown, and that has been the reason for their back and forth, so that we don't keep wasting the time of Parliament.
In 2011, there was a presidential order issuing tax waiver to some banks and private institutions based on certain categories of incomes, and has reversed that. Some companies are hiding under the pretext of avoiding education tax following the presidential order of waiver. Chairman of the House Committee on Environment, Pondi Babojo, who gave this summons, said the committee was displeased by their behavior, as it was the second time they were shunning the invitation to appear, and directed the clerk of the committee to write them to them, adding that such attitude would no longer be condoned.
This one is a request of our people that are dying. After you heard from my colleague, while he was seated here, they sent me a message that houses are still collapsing. So I want to appeal to you, well, as well as I'm appealing to my colleagues, to make sure that they meet up those criteria. I want to appeal to you that when they come to you, please prioritize those criteria, particularly those people that are here, that have called on you for support, for assistance. Please, I know that there's so much across country asking for same or similar things, but you will be doing our committee, National Assembly, by extension, the constituents, there are people, our constituents, a huge favor for crying out very loud for you to hear. So please, and when they do so, prioritize. Do I say prioritize? Attend to, because everybody is equally important in this country. Everybody is important in this country. So please try and accommodate it in your program and try and see what you can do.
The prevalence of climate change has impacted our environment harmfully, resulting in an increased wave of erosion, desertification, flooding, and other forms of natural disasters that have assumed severe and worrisome dimension in our vulnerable communities across the 36 states of the Federation. The ecological threats have specifically caused deaths, displacement of homes, devastation of farmlands and means of livelihood, and destruction to infrastructure, leading to social-economic challenges in communities across the 8 states captured in today's public hearing. As the People's Parliament, and in line with our legislative agenda of embarking on legislative processes and legal frameworks to address environmental challenges, the House resolved to respond urgently to the menace in the communities to stem the ugly tide.
The Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, said the prevalence of climate change had impacted on the environment harmfully, resulting in an increased wave of erosion, desertification, flooding, and other forms of natural disaster that have assumed several severe and worrisome dimensions in the vulnerable communities across the 36 states of the Federation. The Speaker, who was represented by the Deputy Majority Leader of the House, Honorable Abdullahi Halim, said the House, in line with its legislative agenda of the embarking on legislative processes and legal framework to address environmental challenges, resolved to respond urgently to the menace in the communities to stem the ugly tide. Indigenous people of Biafra says the May 30th sit-at-home remains sacrosanct across the southeast, and that every resident in this zone should stay at home. In commemoration of Biafra Heroes Day, the IPOB leader earlier directed the West African Examination Council and the authorities of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Akwa, to shift their respective engagements earlier scheduled for the day, while declaring the day as a day to celebrate its fallen heroes during the civil war between 1967 and 1970. The pro-Biafran groups in the statement signed by its spokesperson Neymar Powerful said the remembrance of all those who fought for Biafra freedom and sovereignty remain imperatives, and no government or security agency has any authority to harass any innocent person during the event. Powerful stated that all social activities in Biafra land are banned, including markets, schools, bank, government, and private businesses are not allowed to open, adding that the entire southeast would be on lockdown from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the day. The group insisted that all Biafran heroes and heroines must be remembered, including Bruce Myrock from the USA, who sacrificed his youthful age for Biafrans. And that's the size of the package. Thanks for joining us. I am Immaculate Rekana. You can join us on all our media platforms: Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X